Yeah, welcome to episode 1 of making a bike with me. I'm Jordan Madsen, and this is Space Mesa Bikes. Figure I'd start out doing a rundown of what I'm trying to do, go over a few of the details on the frame design, and just kind of catch you guys up to where I'm at today with this project. So, without further ado, this is the beginnings of the Space Mesa frame. So this bike, it's going to be a, it's kind of hot, it's really hot out here, it's been sitting in the sun. It's going to be a 7 to 8 inch travel bike on the rear. It's going to be designed primarily around a dual crown 200 mil fork, and with the option probably of doing some sort of a single crown like 180, 190 mil fork if someone wanted to do that, just depending on their preferences, because this will be able to not be treated as just a downhill bike, but my goal is to kind of build just an all-around bike for just general free ride adventures. So it's got to have, you know, steeper seat tube so you can pedal it. It's going to have, you know, I don't think I'll set mine up with a full gear range, but you know, if I do a downhill range in a smaller cog on the front, could do that too. Lots of options. But so just to kind of break down what's going on here and kind of the reasons I settled on this suspension design and the thoughts behind it. Initially, I did want to just do like a straight up single pivot, super simple bike, but with the travel numbers that I'm wanting to pull and the space that I've got within the front triangle and everything, I couldn't come up with a way to do just a single pivot. Not without doing some sort of a funky shock pocket out here like the orange downhill bike has, because like they're running this really long shock and it sits outboard, and I didn't really want to have to split this down tube, so I didn't want to do that. That being said, if anybody does have any ideas of how to do, you know, about a 190 to 195 mil travel rear end with it being just single pivot, I'm open to ideas, but this is what I came up with. It's similar-ish, at least this link is going to be similar to what's on my TR11 right now, but obviously doesn't have a split pivot rear like your traditional horse link, so it's going to still perform a lot like just a regular single pivot frame, just with a link driving this into this link into the shock. And yeah, I'm hoping I can do that, keep it simple, keep it stiff, and just make something that's going to be really good. So that being said, my whole idea and design philosophy behind this was to take what I've learned with riding the last like 7 years down here in southern Utah, learning how to do more free ride and push myself in that way. I've ridden several different bikes. I was on a Norco Arum downhill bike for a while, and I never could get along with it. And the biggest thing that I didn't enjoy about it was the way that the suspension worked on the rear. When you would try to like pull the front wheel up to get the front wheel off the ground, if you're doing like a plop drop or something like that, it was like dang near impossible for me. I don't know if I just need more skill or what, but it was very difficult. And I've talked to other people that have ridden that same bike that have said similar stories about that as well. So we moved from that to my TR11, which was a really big improvement. The chainstay length on that, the suspension platform, made it work really well for doing a lot of this style of riding that I like. But the one thing that I wanted to change on it is try to figure out a way to shorten that rear end up even more, because I believe that bike, mine's a 2020, has about a 440 mil chainstay on it, and it obviously has some growth through the travel, but this one, what I'm going to go for is somewhere between 420 and 430 for those chainstay lengths. Eventually, I may do some sort of a flip chip or an adjustable dropout so that it could be adjusted between that range. But right now I'm just messing around with probably sticking around a 425 to start, which is what this is actually set up at, and then go from there. As far as reach numbers go, I've messed around a lot with changing the reach, running custom stems, different longer stems, shorter stems, taller, shorter, like all those kind of different directions, and messed around with how that changes the way that the bike feels and reacts. And I will say, with my current downhill bike, running that shorter, like 10 mil offset stem, that's also taller as well, so it raises that stack significantly but shortens the overall reach, it works really well for like jumps, when you want to like have a nice balanced feel off of the jump, or be able to actually weight into the back more. That helps a ton. And then the same thing with trying to get that front wheel off the ground. Say you're trying to do a manual or just even a hop or anything like that, having that leverage back just a little bit more just helps you get over into that compression zone faster, so you can pop more consistently. There's a lot of things I've noticed with running that stem, and I've been experimenting back and forth with that stem and my 30, I think it's a 30 or 35 millimeter stem from Chromag that I've been running back and forth between those two. Just trying to learn, trying to decide what makes sense, what works. And yeah, so this is going to be an evolution of that project, because I have noticed as I've gotten more used to riding the steeper lines and more technical things on that bike, as I switch back to the longer stem, I still feel comfortable with it, even though it is stretched out a little bit further. So what I'm probably going to do on this bike is probably up the reach number from like about a 440, which is what I've been used to on my current bike, to probably like 450, 455, somewhere in that range, and then run that shorter stem, so it would bring it back to, you know, roughly, let's see, probably about a 420, 425 mil reach, somewhere in that range. But the advantage for that is adding a little more wheelbase than what you would normally have with that short of a reach. So you still got stability, you still got control, but then you have so much more movement for your arms to move in and out, because they're not so stretched, especially on those steeper runs. I feel like it just gives you a lot better position to like attack and ride on those steeper lines and react. But yeah, I mean, that's basically just a general rundown of what we're doing here. I think in some future videos I will also start and talk about leverage ratios that I've got figured into here, as well as stroke length on the shock, and all of that stuff, and just how I've designed this suspension and what I believe is going to be a pretty sick bike. And if not, I'll at least learn something from this one, and it'll be somewhere to go from. And yeah, I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be a really cool project. Hope you guys will keep following along. And like I say, share any insights you may have, or any things that you'd like to see me try as I move this project along. I'm going to try and do videos on this once a week, or as I get progress going on the bike. But yeah, so hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you get some ideas churning in your own head. And yeah, this is the start of Space Mesa bikes. So thanks for watching, and enjoy.